Hi, Aries. This is going to be your reading for April 1st to the 7th of April, 2021. Now, I have already shuffled these cards very, very well, but I am going to continue to shuffle them a little while I'm talking to you. I'm also Aries, and so I love to do a reading for us. And I'm very excited to see what the week ahead is going to bring us. It better be something good. This is our time. This is spring. Everything's waking up. New, fresh, alive children of the zodiac. So this is going to be really good. The weather's getting better in North America, and that's where I am. So I hope you guys are all having a great beginning of spring, and that we're going to get a lot accomplished in the next little while, and also, of course, have a lot of fun. So I'm just going to do a quick little 12 card spread with an extra card as kind of an overview. So let's see what we've got. Well, this is nice. Okay, now I want you to know I shuffled these cards extremely well because I did a lot of shuffling before I started. And then our little bonus card here. Aha. Okay. Now, this is interesting because right off the top, I see one, two, three, four cards that were in the, April reading for the month for Aries. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, not that there are four cards that are the same. That's not interesting at all. But they're all right in a row, and I shuffled like crazy. So that's kind of interesting that they all came up together. But anyway, this is a pretty good reading, I would say. Okay, so first of all, we've got the Six of Pentacles, which is a very good card about having decent income, decent money, getting to a certain place of financial security, possibly even to the point where you have the means to give to charity, whether you do or not. It can also mean a card of charity, giving something to somebody. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, often is, but it could also be helping somebody with a health matter, or helping them to feel more secure about something. Pentacles tend to relate to earthy things like health and life and security, how you feel, prosperity, including financial. It's a good card. It's a very good card. And of course, the Ten of Cups, is considered one of the best cards in the deck. It's the card of happiness and, good home life and good relationships and family and sort of, 10 is completion. It's reaching the pinnacle of happiness and completion and everything good. I mean, it's one of the best cards. It just is. It's a great card. Now, this is a card I don't often get. I am Aries, and I don't often get this card, but I get this card for other people all the time. This card is kind of a complicated card, but it can mean a lot of things, but generally it means that swords are things in your head, the intellect, the mind, and this person is carrying baggage with them or burdens with them. Sometimes it means a journey across water or something like that. But it tends to mean that these swords have to go. There are some things you're carrying with you that are not helping you to progress in life. Bad memories, bad thoughts, carrying the emotional burdens of things that have happened to you or when people have done bad things to you. Don't dwell on it. You have to get rid of it or find a way to I don't know, there's so many ways to do this. Like, you can imagine, you can replace your bad memories with good memories. Or whenever a bad memory pops into your head, instead of thinking about the bad memory, you can think about the good memory or the good thing you want to do. Like, just flip it, like, just find a way to mechanically do that in your mind. Because you can do it. It's like a bad habit. Worrying is a bad habit. Another thing that you can do that I read about a long time ago, which is an interesting and bizarre thing to do with worrying, or I know this isn't just worrying, but it can be worries. And carrying baggage with you, bad stuff from the past, becomes something that goes through your mind like worrying. So I'm going to throw it all into the same basket, even though it isn't. But you can book a time in. If you find that these bad thoughts or worries sort of keep creeping in when you're trying to do other things or think positive things, you can say, okay, I'm going to book a time for worrying at 6 o'clock. From 6 to 6:15, I have to do all my worrying at that time. I can't do any worrying the rest of the day. And you might be surprised at how that actually can work. And when you're sitting there trying to do the actual worrying, the thoughts might not even come in because your mind will wander to something else. But we can control a lot of our thoughts. When you're sleeping and you're dreaming, you can't control it normally, but you can control it when you're awake, and you don't have to let these thoughts or past events haunt you. You do not. So work on that. Just yank those swords out and fling them away. Melt them. Do whatever. This card here, Eight of Wands, is also sometimes called the Aries Arrows of Love. Sometimes it means some love relationship is coming in. The arrows are moving at a furious rate, like just, jetting through the air. And that usually is the energy of this card. It's like something is happening, something's going to happen or is happening that's fast and furious. Something's going to come in, or you're going to make it happen, and it's going to be amazing and fast and positive and very energetic. And sometimes it is a love relationship. So it's a great card. It's a wonderful card for Aries because we're all about action. The Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is about emotion, and she can be a person in your life who is very passionate and very emotionally, I don't want to say stable because that sounds boring as hell, but very emotionally mature, somebody who understands relationships and how to deal with people, emotional communication, that kind of thing, passionate and able to convey that, and passionate in life about love and relationships and emotions and all that really good stuff. So that might be a person that that might be a quality you have. That might be, because these cards are basically together, the Arrows of Love and this emotional card, that might, be that you're tapping into your emotional side because of this thing coming in. It can also mean that it's an event that you're passionate about, like something that you're putting into motion, something like that, or something you're doing, a project or something. It doesn't have to be love, but it can be. Passion is passion, right? Not always the same, but you know what I'm saying. This card, this is one of those cards that is so hard because I don't know you personally to interpret. It can mean so many things. It's a card, some people call it the sore winner card because this guy looks like he's just won some kind of a battle and he's walking away all smug with the swords, or that's the perception. Sometimes it's perceived as you're the victim of this situation or the person who's defeated. Sometimes I think it's just a card. We Aries can be a bit cocky at times, or at least some of us can. Sometimes I think this card might just be a reminder not to be a bit of a sore winner, to be a little bit, it's hard to be humble for Aries. It's not really our thing, but, well, generally speaking, depending on where you are, in the month or the time frame for Aries. But I kind of think of that card as sometimes meaning that, just kind of like tone it down a bit, okay, great, you did this great thing, give your ego a rest here. I'm not always good at it, but it's a reminder of something. It's a reminder of something, whether whoever you are in the card or whatever is going on, some sort of a victory, whether it be positive or negative. There's some kind of a victory going on here. It might even have a positive spin. It just depends. There is some kind of arguing here next to this, maybe in a love relationship. Possibly you have a partner or a potential partner who there's some kind of arguing, and maybe you're feeling that you're always the victor, or maybe the opposite of that. Something to be evaluated, something to check on. It's right here next to the Queen of Cups. Remember that if you're with this person and you love this person, don't be too flip about it. Don't be too, I hate to say sure of yourself. You should always be sure of yourself. But maybe, we Aries like to win, and we like to always be on top of everything. So maybe this is the time to not always have that perspective, look at it from the other person's angle a little bit, and just, maybe tone it down. Don't be too angry unless there's an actual good reason to be angry, and then, do whatever you have to do. But if it's just stupid banter and dumb arguments or over trivialities, it ain't worth it sometimes. So, I can take that advice myself because I'm not always good about that kind of thing. The Magician, one of the best cards in the deck, definitely. Very often a card that comes up in Aries readings. The Magician is all about having all the tools you need to do whatever you want, including intellectually, including, physically. Everything you want to do, you can make it happen. You can manifest whatever dream you want to make happen. That is a fact. You have this card. You have the skill set. You have the mentality. You have the power. You have the drive. You have everything that you need to make anything you want to happen. So let me unleash you on the world to do that, because that is why you are here. This card is a card, Three of Pentacles, is a very good card. It's a card about, sometimes we think of it as laying foundations. It's kind of building something. It's a card of a tradesperson beginning something, or starting to build something. It could be the building of anything that you want to accomplish. It could be a home. It could be a relationship. It could be a structure of any kind, a job. It could be, it is a tradesperson card, so it could be you have a skill and you're going to utilize that skill to create a career, something of that nature. But it's a good card. And this card was in the Aries overview. Like I said, the next 4 cards were. This one is usually looking back to the past, sort of evaluating your life, what you've done, where you're going, something we need to do on a somewhat regular basis, or at least when we decide to embark on something new. This Knight of Pentacles is a knight who is very thoughtful, careful. He is a knight, so he's brave and bold and all the good stuff, but at the same time, he's not impulsive, which, of course, we Aries tend to be very impulsive. So I always look at this card as a reminder to make sure everything is all covered before you dash into your situation. Make sure you have all your ducks in a row, so to speak, and that you are on the right path, because this knight is on the right path. He's a very righteous, good, solid knight who is out to do everything properly. I know I always have to think about this card in the way that I don't want to say be less impulsive, because our impulsive nature is what makes us great. It makes us Aries. It makes us what we are. But at the same time, sometimes we have to just put the brakes on a little bit to do the necessary steps. And, I don't like to be too structured, like you have to do this in this order or whatever. But when you do have to do that, when you actually need to do things in a particular order, this guy is always there to remind you that don't forget anything before you rush in. Make sure you've got your sword and your armor and all your stuff that you need to make the thing happen, because he's not doing anything crazy. The other knights are a little bit more forward. This guy is the thoughtful one. So, like I say, he could be a person, or he could be something that you need to embrace or to think about or to put into action. And this card, I hate this card with a passion. Seven of Swords, it's a drag. Because every time I read this card, it doesn't seem to make sense. The card always, well, I mean, it can mean different things, but usually the way the card is perceived is, there's some kind of a deception going on. This dude is stealing these swords or making away with these swords from some kind of a bunch of tents here and sneaking off. I think I'm going to just say this card from now on is just a card of somebody is being a little bit sneaky. It doesn't necessarily mean to be, the crime of the century or anything. Maybe it's just a little bit of sneakiness going on or something of that nature. But you know what? You shouldn't trust everybody anyway. You should only trust the people who really have gained your trust. So I don't know what this card means for you. I would love to know what this card means for you if you get this card on a regular basis, or if you have a particular instance where you've gotten this card and something serious has happened, because this card is always very confusing for me, because I have never had so many of the cards. There's evidence, like in readings, when you've done lots and lots and lots of readings, you see what comes of the various cards. This is one of the ones that I never see the result, or nobody ever seems to know why they have this card. It's just one of those cards for me that the people in my life and even clients don't seem to know what this card means. I have studied this card on an individual basis to see if I'm missing anything. I definitely need to revisit that, because it just never seems to be a card that makes any sense to me. And the overview is the High Priestess, which was also in that, overview kind of a reading. And it's a female power card. It's about female intuition, about going into yourself, having some quiet time. Very hard for Aries in general, and certainly almost impossible for me. Go into yourself, have that quiet time, that meditative time to do whatever. You know what I do with this card? This is going to sound a little wacky, but to me, the only time I can sort of think and not have other things I always have to be doing is when I'm doing a workout. So to me, when I see that card, I just think, okay, well, yes, I'm going to be very introspective and sort of soul searching when I do my workout today. So if you're a person who doesn't have as much, time to just sit around and do whatever as you might like to, if you're doing a workout, if you're taking your dog for a walk, there are certain times when you can sort of let your mind kind of freewheel into wherever. That is what I recommend that you think about when you can do that. Having a bath, if you have time to have a nice bubble bath, that's a good time to do that also. So anyway, Aries, you have a great first week of April. This is my very favorite time of the year. So I hope it is for you too. Have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.